Welcome to the second hour. As promised, we get into that in-depth discussion with the CEO of AMCHAM T&T, Neeraj Tiwari, joins me on the Zoom line for our Budget 2026 postmortem. And of course, to you, Neeraj, I want to say thanks because there is lots to treat with. And I want to, of course, get into business incentives and what you saw via the budget that gives a sense of optimism. I know via your policy document, you made mention of some of the improvements, or at least the perceived improvements that will transpire at the port and with the clearance and the ease of doing business. That's a discussion that I know you hold very dear to heart and you're very passionate about. So let's start in that regard. Business incentives and what via the budget gives you a sense of optimism. Yeah. Great to see you, Neeraj, as always. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Morning, Jason. Morning, platforms. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us. So we do think that the commitments to improving and modernizing the customs system and the clearance, I mean, we heard them commit to 24-hour clearance. That is music to our ears. And if that happens, I think it will significantly improve the ease of doing business. That would mean implementing fully the capabilities of the system, the electronic platform that we currently use called ASICUDA, which is a platform developed by the UN, the UNCTAD. We know they have a consultant, they mentioned that, who's working on upgrading the system and its functionality, but the commitment to having a risk-based management approach to a fully digital clearance system, to online payments for customs, those kinds of things will be very, very helpful. I think it would improve doing business, not just for businesses, but I think citizens will see that things should get easier in that regard. We do believe, though, that there are some bad actors in customs, as there are in any organization, and we repeat our call for the equivalent of a professional standards bureau or an international affairs unit, an internal affairs unit, within customs to weed out those few bad actors so that we have all those hard-working and honest customs officers who are both in the system now and who will come in and want to just do a good job to be able to do so effectively.
Neeraj,
we think that...
I'll let you continue, but as you mentioned the payment system, I'm seeing there was a call for improved digital payments. Other than the airport, where you are still, the request is cash if you go through the red line to clear goods, and I guess that will be smaller items compared to, let's say, the port. Is there still cash transactions taking place at the seaport, or is it just the airport?
Yes, both.
And you see, that's the problem, because you know, where there's cash, there's always that unfortunately,
well, it's also the system, right? So you have to go here and go there, and you have to wait here and wait there. So the more we can automate these things, the better. And so we hope that we see that. And in line with that, the National E-Payments Company, that is the evolution of what the TTIFC was, we hope we'll be able to work as they have been. I think John Outridge there has been doing a pretty good job, him and his team, to implement more government services being paid for online, whatever they may be. You know, a couple of years ago, they would have done some options for e-payments for HDC properties and that kind of thing. So if we see more of that happening, we'd love to see the immigration forms digitized, as I keep saying, and I've said it at every pre- and post-budget interview so far. We are probably the last CARICOM country in which you have to fill out a paper form, and is an embarrassment. So if we see these things starting to happen, I think that there would be a knock-on, a positive effect on confidence, because people will see the government itself modernizing and therefore improving the likelihood that it would be easier to do business in Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore create the conditions for more investment.
So Neeraj, actually did some research concerning why we have to still fill out these forms. So other than the fact that various ministries have to come together, Ministry of Finance, National Security, public admin and others. Apparently, it's one that needs to go to Parliament because still under our law, it does not facilitate digital signatures. It only recognizes.
That is not true. I don't know.
Well, I did some digging, and that's what was told to me via someone
Right.
within the House.
So in this country, too many times we go and we find some obscure reason why not, as opposed to why to. Let's deal with some facts. In Barbados, they have a digital entry system. In Jamaica, they have a digital entry system. Do you mean to tell me that we are less capable than these countries? First of all. Secondly, we have heard about these so-called impediments in legislation, and we've had various sessions with consultants who have been used by our government as well, who have detailed and explained why some of the things that are touted as impediments are not actually so. And whatever the impediments may be, real or perceived, the point is that they can be removed if there is the political will to do so and a commitment to get it done. Full stop.
Indeed. But I mean, fully understand what you're saying, but again, unfortunately, I think what they're saying is that this literally has to go to Parliament for them to get that green light. So again, the bureaucracy and the red
Take
tape.
it to Parliament.
Well, yeah, and that's what I've been asking for the longest while, take it, pass it, and let's keep it going. Let me ask you.
This will not be something that requires a constitutional majority, right? Plus, the government currently has a special majority in Parliament. So even if it did, it could get something like this done. But I would be very, very surprised if that is the impediment. I know there is some interagency collaboration and interoperability of systems that would be required between customs and immigration and the like. But as I said, other countries have gotten it done, smaller countries than us, countries with less resources. So is it that we are saying we are inferior in some way to these countries?
Yeah, well, again, it's one where I have questioned for the longest while, and you're correct. Jamaica and Barbados and places in the region are way ahead of the curve. Let me go now to taxation with increasing direct and indirect taxes, which we understand it's in need for obviously the short term. Walk me through the AMCHAM's position on the tax structure that was presented via Budget 2026.
Sure. So, I mean, look, the increase in the electricity rates, the increase in NIS, the increased taxes on the banking and insurance sector, these are all additional taxes, right? The reality is, and I said this at our AGM to our members, to be able to get to a better place economically, we are all going to feel some pain, and we're all going to have to be prepared to pitch in. Implicit in that understanding, though, is that the government has to commit to delivery on the things that they say they're going to do to be able to allow the business environment to improve such that businesses can do what businesses do, earn more money, pay more taxes, employ more people. What we can't do is increase taxes on the one hand and continue to have a stifling economic environment that prevents and inhibits the ease of doing business. The government has committed to weeding out corruption, therefore making the business environment fairer. They've committed to digital transformation. They've outlined their commitments to research and innovation. More can be done, but at least they've signaled that they're going that way, improving or enhancing the workforce and the teaching learning process through training on digital tools and so on. So if all of these things are happening on the improvement side, if there continues to be an improvement on crime and security, then it will become easier to do business, and the taxes, the impact of the taxes won't be as negative. If, however, that does not happen, then what you're going to see happening is a less and less attractive environment to do business. But as we said in our release, we're optimistic. We understand the need to do this now. We could not continue in the same way with the NIB, the various actuarial reports that should have been implemented some time ago have called for these kinds of measures to be taken, that is increases in contributions and the retirement age. So the government is biting the bullet and dealing with some of those things. So we feel as a responsible organization that we need to support these things. But as we do that, we will do our best to work with the government, collaborate with the government to implement the reforms that they say they're going to implement, and where necessary, hold them to account if they are falling short.
On the proposed review of the value-added tax system, I'm seeing here where you're calling for a simpler tax sale model. Could you elaborate some more on your statement via VAT?
Yeah, so the VAT system is, I mean, fundamentally it's broken because in effect the business sector has been assisting the government with its cash flow by not receiving all of the VAT refunds that are owed. If you move to a model that doesn't have a refund system, and the sales tax model is one such model, that will eliminate that part of the problem and therefore eliminate the impact of the cash flow challenges on businesses. And it would make sense in that regard. Now, how the sales tax is implemented and how that impacts prices is one thing, and then secondly, the government still needs to address all the arrears, not just VAT, but other payables to the private sector.
Nirad, as we wrap things up, I'll give you a chance to put in a closing remark in the seconds that remain.
Yeah, so we remain optimistic. This is the first budget of this government. We think we're seeing the elements of a plan. We appreciate the fact that policy measures, by and large, seem interconnected, and we hope that the execution will follow in a strong way. The government so far has been very open to collaboration, to discussion, and once that continues and we're able to work together, we think that we're in for brighter days, maybe not immediately, but we are committed to working with our members and the government and other stakeholders to ensure that we are a positively contributing partner, because if the economy improves, it will only augur well for all of us, and that's ultimately what I think we all want to see.
Indeed, Nirad Tiwari, CEO of AMCHAM T&T, touching base with us this morning. Always a pleasure to speak with Nirad. We take the pause.
That's right.
Oh, for sure. Always a joy. All the best. We get ready, because up next, Tobago Talks. And when Tobago talk, oh yes, we listen. The president of the Tobago Division, Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Curtis Williams, he joins me next for the Tobago Allocation.